2022 when ChatGPT came out.
ChatGPT won, but OpenAI, Ben, has a fight that is ongoing. So we'll keep things moving. The headline in our rundown for this segment is Microsoft and OpenAI should quit bickering and just make out. It's time for our semi-annual update on the simmering tensions between OpenAI and Microsoft. So I'll read from the Wall Street Journal. Tensions between OpenAI and Microsoft over the future of their famed AI partnership are flaring up. OpenAI wants to loosen Microsoft's grip on its AI products and computing resources and secure the tech giant's blessing for its conversion into a for-profit company. Microsoft's approval of the conversion is key to OpenAI's ability to raise more money and go public. But the negotiations have been so difficult that in recent weeks, OpenAI's executives have discussed what they view as a nuclear option, accusing Microsoft of anti-competitive behavior during their partnership, people familiar with the matter said. The effort could involve seeking federal regulatory review of the terms of the contract for potential violations of antitrust law, as well as a public campaign, the people said. Such a move could threaten the company's 6-year-old relationship, widely seen as one of the most successful partnerships in tech history. So OpenAI is calling out to the refs, or thinking about calling out to the refs. What leverage does Microsoft have as this fight continues? And what leverage does OpenAI have? Walk me through the considerations for both sides.
So we don't know for sure, like, what's in these agreements, right? Like there's this AGI clause. Oh, the AGI clause has been changed. It's tied to profit. It's sort of like that applies to all these sorts of things. And so we kind of have to, like, this is a terrible podcast. We start out with a soap opera, and now we're to like astrology and like reading the tea leaves and the signs. My takeaway from the reporting this week is that Microsoft has all the cards, at least in the short term. OpenAI is under the gun to become this for-profit entity. They need to raise lots of money to sort of keep going. People don't want to invest in a nonprofit. They want to, so there was like these clauses that investors can claw their money back if they're not converted in time. Now, I think that's not, I don't think they'll do that. I think all the investors are very happy to be open in OpenAI. But again, these are more agreements. We don't actually know what's going on. It speaks to the, it certainly is useful to think about the long term when you're setting stuff up. Like, maybe don't do a nonprofit.
You needed talent,
right.
Sell the dream of a safe super intelligence back in 2016,
it's
2017.
True. Well, it speaks to like Meta. Can they, hire the right people? Because it's super clear what you're getting into with Meta. Like, maybe clarity's not the best thing sometimes. So my sense is Microsoft has all the cards, at least in the short term. And they're saying, look, we put all this money in for all these rights. We're going to, if you want us to relinquish that, you have to give us something meaningful. And you don't want to, just like, what's a good, like, there's people, this is like Taylor Swift.
Okay.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
I didn't.
So Taylor Swift weaves all these sob stories about the rights to her recordings, right? Mm-hmm. And gets everyone on her side. It's so unfair they own it, and it's being sold around, and these mean record executives, blah 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 blah. What record executives do is they fund recordings and they sign record deals with a ton of musicians, the vast majority of whom do not work out. And guess what? They lost a lot of money on that. And then the ones that do work out, does the musician get quote unquote screwed? Yes, they are, but they are screwed because that's the model as a whole. The record company got screwed with all the musicians that didn't make it, right? Yeah. They lost money on all them, and it works out because then they make money on the ones that do sort of pull it off in the long run. And, congratulations.
I'm resisting the urge to put a top hat and a monocle on you. Oh, man, I really am. Permanent it's out of control. Mr. Monopoly man, cheering for the record executives here. Look, the point is well taken. The record executive business, or the record business, would not exist without the model that rewards the hits and pays for all the flops over the course of time.
And Microsoft paid for OpenAI. Like ChatGPT, like yes, OpenAI existed before Microsoft. Nothing meaningful. Like they got up to GPT-2, but they realized we had to scale. We don't have the money to scale. We don't have the capability. We have this weird structure. Like Microsoft didn't just take a risk by putting money in. They took a risk by putting money into this screwed up structure that was going to make it unclear how to get their money out. Like OpenAI is the one that made this so risky for Microsoft. Had they had a normal company, they wouldn't have this problem now, and Microsoft would have less leverage because they'd just be a normal stockholder. Like this is all OpenAI's fault that they're in this position. And it was with Microsoft's money that they did ChatGPT, they did GPT-3, they did ChatGPT, and I think ChatGPT is where all the value of OpenAI is in. Like again, I've made the point before. Again, it's not viable for lots of reasons, but ChatGPT with Anthropic as the model would be just as successful as it is today. The driver of the value, the reason why I think they won, is the product ChatGPT, much more so than the models. So Microsoft deserves to be compensated for it. Is it unfair today that they have to give up something to Microsoft, maybe the long-term API business, or not? Like from OpenAI's perspective, I can imagine how infuriating this is. They're like, look, all these enterprises, they know OpenAI, they know ChatGPT, but all their data's on AWS. And Microsoft's like, they're not going to switch to Azure. And AWS is like, hey, we got Anthropic just as good. And like we could dominate this market if we could have our model on AWS, if we could have our model on GCP. Like Gemini and Anthropic wouldn't even be competitive because our brand is so strong. We could win enterprise as well. And there's a bit where Microsoft's saying, nope, it's exclusive to Azure. That's very harmful to OpenAI in their desire to sort of win and dominate, and so I can understand just on that angle alone, OpenAI being very frustrated about the state of affairs. But the state of affairs is downstream from Microsoft taking the risk that they did, and they have these rights, and they get to be compensated for it.
And they're using their leverage, and the FT
I think Microsoft's just saying, like, get a grip, OpenAI. Like, sorry, we have these. It's like OpenAI is begging Microsoft to just give them back their rights, and that doesn't work. Microsoft's a $3 trillion company for a reason, and Satya Nadella has a fiduciary duty to his shareholders to maximize the value of this investment that they have. And so by all accounts, it goes till 2030. So if OpenAI wants to sit it out for the next 4 years and just get there, and then
OpenAI suffers far more in that scenario.
Exactly.
So that's the issue.
They're not going to wait till 2030.
Well, and Microsoft is apparently reportedly prepared to just walk away from the high stakes negotiations.
This is like Microsoft, like, I bet Elon Musk would take $10 billion from Microsoft.
Well, so what's your argument for why Microsoft should maybe broker a compromise here? Because you alluded to that earlier in the episode, and what would be the long-term benefit for Microsoft by coming to terms in a way that OpenAI feels okay about?
If I'm Microsoft, my goal is Microsoft, there's a bit, someone made the observation, are Microsoft and Apple really so different? Like, neither are training their own models. I mean, Microsoft has some small models and things that they're working on, but by and large, they are externally dependent. The difference is Microsoft has this lock-in that Apple doesn't have with anyone, right? And so if I'm Microsoft, I'm worried about my core businesses, first and foremost, Azure. And number one, I want to secure access to a leading AI model indefinitely, which might as well be OpenAI. That's one you already have. And number two, as a point of differentiation, I would want to maintain exclusive access to that model. If you want OpenAI, you either get it from OpenAI directly, or you go to Azure. It's not on AWS and it's not on GCP. That's what I would want, and I'd give up all my share. Like, again, the profits, maybe in the long run, it would be a bad deal because OpenAI, but if you're Microsoft, have some faith in yourself. We can generate long-term enterprise value for our shareholders, not by being the world's best venture capitalists. Like if my shareholders want to get into OpenAI, go invest in OpenAI. Don't think I have to hold on to this in case OpenAI discovers AGI and like takes over the world.
Right.
Like, again, if I'm a VC, I'm for sure holding on to OpenAI stock. But Microsoft isn't a VC; they're a company, and I think they should secure the maximal rights for their existing business, which, to my mind, is OpenAI's models are exclusive to Azure, and
Hmm.
extend that out 50 years or however
In
long it is.
perpetuity,
In perpetuity,
use your
ideally. Yep.
leverage. Use your
And
leverage.
I'd
That
give
makes
up
sense.
ownership. I'd give up profit share. The problem, I think, is I think OpenAI is being unreasonable here. And my concern with Microsoft is if we make a deal, a forever deal, we're just going to be back negotiating in a year. And OpenAI is just
Hmm.
being obstinate and difficult about it. So we actually shouldn't give up too much because we're going to need to negotiate again. Um, it's just sort of the Altman path, which is he
Yeah.
ends up like, and there's a
Well, and
pattern
there
here.
again,
So
we're working with imperfect information on the outside in terms of what's gone on between
we
these
just
two
see Altman
companies over
having
the last
fallouts with every
2 years.
partnership and group that he's in after a number of years, and
Yeah.
like this sort of fits with that, and like
And then
trying
we
to.
did get the selfie with Sam and Satya at the beginning of this year where it looked like maybe things were on the mend.
And then we had Elon Musk on stage or doing a video with Build, which, by the way, it was one of the most worthless 6 minutes of my life watching that interview. Like, there was nothing interesting there. To me, that was just Satya signaling to Sam, saying, like, we have options.
Yep. We have other people that we could work with going forward. Well, we'll see whether news emerges on that front as the summer unfolds here. To keep it moving, we could go to
Oh, and by
Chris.
the way, just to circle back, this is why the reason I think this is because of OpenAI raising this antitrust thing. This is like a star basketball player being like, okay, I get it. I have no leverage. I'm going to make everyone's life so miserable that
Mm.
you're finally just going to trade me out of disgust and spite. Like,
Wow.
that's what that, and by extension, that's why I think they
Sam,
don't have
go
any
into the
leverage.
Jimmy Butler playbook. But
Yes,
hey,
Sam
the
Altman
Jimmy
is Jimmy
Butler
Butler.
playbook worked. And so perhaps Sam could
It's a
make
it's a
that threat.
it's a funnily accurate analogy. Like, it's just amazing for the first year or two, and then it just sort of all falls
Like,
apart.
what is this guy's deal? Oh my God. All the critics were right. Yes, that certainly looks like where Microsoft has been over the last year or two. But hey, we'll see whether they can make a deal over the course of this summer.